Stocks closed down Monday on the second to last trading day of 2024, a year in which all three major indexes posted strong double-digit gains. The Dow finished about 1% lower, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq did slightly worse. The Nasdaq, though, is on track for about a 30% annual gain, while the S&P is headed for a 24% rise over the past 12 months, and the Dow is up 13% in that time. Abound Financial Chief Investment Officer David Lott attributes today's action to typical end-of-the-year activity, along with a deterioration in stocks that began a few weeks ago.
You're going to get some rotation happening this time of year. People just automatically selling the winners and buying the losers as they rebalance. So you see some of those tech companies, kind of large cap growth in general, selling off a bit. Seeing even last week saw small cap actually do a little bit better on some of those days. So overall, I don't think that there's a ton to see there. Yes, we're used to seeing green this time of year, but ultimately I think we're losing a little bit of momentum going into 2025, and that's what you're seeing take place.
Stocks on the move included Boeing, which fell 2% after South Korea's acting president ordered an emergency safety inspection of its entire airline operation, following the crash of a Boeing jet in the country's deadliest air accident in its history. And American Airlines added 1.5% after broker Raymond James upgraded its rating on the shares to outperform from market perform, citing an improved revenue outlook at the carrier.
Wall Street's main indexes closed largely unchanged on Thursday amid light trading a day after the Christmas holiday. The Dow ticked up marginally, while the S&P 500 and Nasdaq dipped slightly into the red. But the small-cap Russell 2000 index rose 0.9%, a notable bounce back from last week's Fed-induced sell-off, said Anna Rathbun, Chief Investment Officer at CBIZ Investment Advisory Services.
And I do think that that's notable despite the fact that we have low volume because of what happened last week with the Federal Reserve coming in and saying we're not going to cut as much in 2025. And clearly for a lot of small cap stocks that are in the floating rate market, and so they would benefit a lot from falling rates, it's not going to be falling that much for them. So to see them rebound after that, it sort of supports the thesis that we've had in our team about how much of last week's action was overdone.
On a day of few catalysts, the yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury note hit its highest level since early May at 4.64% earlier in the session. Higher yields are traditionally seen as negative for growth stocks, as it raises the cost of their borrowing to fund expansion. Several megacap stocks slipped, including Tesla, Amazon, and Meta Platforms. But shares of Apple gained as the tech giant inches closer to becoming the first company in the world to hit a market value of $4 trillion. And a decline in Bitcoin knocked cryptocurrency-related stocks lower, with MicroStrategy, Mara Holdings, and Coinbase Global all suffering losses.